Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 6th, 2025 City Council meeting. And Suzanne, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Case.
Here, sorry about that.
Mayor Pro Tem Nakai.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Gear.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Yep.
Would the Boy Scouts and their leaders please join us up here at the front of the room? They are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. They've been here visiting with me this evening for about a half an hour, and we've learned a lot together and had some photo opportunities, didn't we? All right, would everyone please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? One under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for bringing your troop. Appreciate it. All right. Item 3, ceremonies, presentations, and appointments. Item A is proclamation declaring November 3rd to November 7th, 2025 as National Veterans Small Business Week. And with us tonight, we have Enrique Camacho. If you would join us at the podium. Welcome.
Thank you. Should we turn this on or just speak louder? I think it's on.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. City Council, thank you so much. Ms. Mayor, much appreciated for your time and opportunity. I'll make my comments very brief about National Veterans Business Week. I want for half a second to just reimagine a veteran, because most of us have this idea in our mind of some old guy sitting in a VFW lounge with a ball cap and smoking a cigarette. I want you to imagine this, because there's a lot of veterans in this room, myself included. Imagine that high school volleyball player, that football player, that band kid, or, you know, that scholastic scholar in there. Those are all potential veterans, and they represent 1% of our nation, and they all answer a call, right? And sometimes asked to do unspeakable things on behalf of this nation. But they come back with this entrepreneurial spirit, this entrepreneurial bug. And so each year, National Veterans Small Business Week gives us an opportunity to honor those who once wore the uniform and now wear the badge of entrepreneurship. Men and women continue to serve our nation on the battlefield, in the boardrooms, in workshops, and in the marketplace. They strengthen our local economy, inspiring all of us through their resilience and leadership. And the Colorado Small Business Development Center of the Pikes Peak region is privileged to walk alongside these veteran-owned businesses through every stage of growth, from idea to launch, from survival to success. And I myself, a veteran of 30 years, have benefited greatly from the SBDC. We won Veteran Small Business of the Year in 2023, which helped us maneuver from the garage to a commercial kitchen. And now we sit on Main Street here in Woodland Park quite proudly. We also, the SBDC has the unwavering support and partners of the Small Business Administration and other federally funded colleagues in SCORE and VBOC. Government people love their acronyms. VBOC stands for the Veteran Business Outreach Center. And we would also like to extend a sincere appreciation to Deb Miller, the Greater Woodland Park Chamber. Their partnership and commitment to entrepreneurs is consistently on display, and they have proved to be a great partner to the SBDC and SBA mission as they support. So I encourage everybody to attend Veterans Small Business Conference tomorrow at the Great Wolf Lodge. It's the 18th year. It is sponsored by Huntington Bank, and it brings together 400 veterans, 40 resource partners, 30 veteran-owned vendors, 15 hands-on workshops, and a Santa Claus will be there. Santa Claus will be there. So it is the largest event of its kind in the state of Colorado, and it serves as a living example of what happens when public and private sector work together to lift those up who serve. So today, as we issue the proclamation, let it be more than a statement on paper. Let it be a reaffirmation of our community's commitment to the veterans. Let us help invest in their dreams, amplify their voices, celebrate their contributions to our local economy, because when we support veteran entrepreneurs, We are just not honoring their past services. We are building a stronger, more resilient future for Woodland Park and the Pikes Peak region.
Thank you so much, Enrique.
Thank you.
So I will read the proclamation into the record. National Veterans Small Business Week 2025. Whereas the U.S. Small Business Administration has designated November 3rd through November 7th, 2025 as National Veterans Small Business Week, honoring the entrepreneurial contributions of service members, veterans, members of the National Guard and Reserve, and military spouses. And whereas veteran-owned businesses are an essential part of the City of Woodland Park's economy, contributing to the vitality, resilience, and unique character of our mountain community. And whereas the Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, and the Colorado Veterans Business Outreach Center, the VBOC, hosted by Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center, provide critical counseling, training, and access to resources that empower veteran entrepreneurs to start and grow successful businesses. And whereas the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce and local partners work year-round to support small and veteran-owned businesses throughout advocacy, education, and community collaboration. And whereas the Veterans Small Business Conference, to be held on November 7th, 2025, serves as a highlight of the national celebration by connecting veteran entrepreneurs and their families with expert speakers, business training, and vital resources to strengthen and expand their enterprises. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the City of Woodland Park recognize and celebrate the service, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit of our veterans who continue to enrich our economy and enhance our community's quality of life. Now, therefore, the City of Woodland Park, Colorado does hereby proclaim November 3rd through November 7th as 2025 as National Veterans Small Business Week in the City of Woodland Park, Colorado, and encourages all citizens, businesses, and community organizations to support and celebrate veteran entrepreneurs during this week and throughout the year. Dated this 6th day of November 2025. All right. Should we do individual pictures with the proclamation for both? Or do you want to do both of them together?
We can do both together.
All right. All right. Item 3B is a proclamation declaring November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday. And our presenter again is Enrique Camacho of Model Citizens Coffee.
Well, thank you so much. My comments will be much shorter. Thank you. So Small Business Saturday, November 29th is an opportunity for the citizens of Woodland Park to support our local small businesses, Model Citizen Coffee Company included, right on the main street. I'm sorry, shameless plug, but I'm here and I can do it.
That's fine.
So thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, I will read this proclamation into the record. Small Business Saturday 2025. Whereas Small Business Saturday was founded in 2010 and has since become a nationwide movement to celebrate and support small, independent businesses for their vital contributions to local communities and the national economy. And whereas the U.S. Small Business Administration has officially recognized Small Business Saturday since 2011, encouraging, encouraging consumers to shop local during the holiday season. And whereas small businesses represent the overwhelming majority of enterprises in Colorado, approximately 99.5% of all businesses statewide, and play a vital role in sustaining jobs and fueling local prosperity. And whereas in 2023, consumers spent an estimated $17 billion nationwide at small businesses on Small Business Saturday, highlighting the importance of supporting local commerce. And whereas shopping small keeps dollars circulating in Woodland Park's economy, supports local jobs, and preserves the character and vibrancy of our mountain community. And whereas organizations such as the Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, and the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce provide year-round resources, advocacy, and the training to strengthen small businesses and entrepreneurs in our region. And now, therefore, the City Council of Woodland Park, Colorado does hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in the city of Woodland Park, Colorado, and encourages all residents to support local small businesses, both in person and online, on this day and throughout the year. Dated this 6th day of November, 2025. All right.
You stand right in front of them where the mayor's name is.
Well, I think that's all the fun stuff for tonight. Sorry. Item 3C, sales tax update on the month of August 2025. Aaron,
Come on, that's pretty fun.
it is pretty fun. I can't wait. I'm on pins and needles.
All right,
Well, yeah,
oh goodness.
I'm familiar with this.
All right, tonight I have for you all the August 2025 sales tax update, which is received through the end of September 2025. Year to date, we're looking about the same as the last projection I gave you when we had our last budget workshop. August, year to date, we're up 1.9%. We're up 106,000 over last year. Total revenues received $5,680,092. The month of August was up 1.3%, which was $9,848 over last year, for 774,000 approximately. Lodging tax is also running about the exact same as what we looked at last time, 36% down year to date. We're down $98,616 August year to date over last year. We received $172,893. And the month of August was down 36%, which was down $17,704. When we look at the chart year to date, you can see that we've been pretty consistent in our revenue. We had a couple of months that were a little bit out of the chain there, but for the most part, we've been up about between 1% and 3% most of the months, and then we were down about 1% for the other two. So it's looking pretty consistent throughout the month. So we will hope that we end the year about 2% up, which is what we were projecting. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Aaron. Counselor?
I do.
Go ahead, Georgie.
Excuse me. Obviously, when we look at lodging, we've just consistently seen it, decrease in double-digit numbers. And it's all you're doing is a year-over-year comparison, right?
Mhm.
So I guess my question is just the lodging, is it in this massive decline, or is it just because it was so big during the STR years, I guess?
Yes, that would be the bulk of the difference.
Yeah.
I would expect when we get to January of next year, we'll start to see it flatten out. And we'll
Okay.
be probably 5% decreases as opposed to 30 and 40%.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's just got to end at some point.
And it should be January.
Okay.
Because January is truly the 1 year mark of when we stop collecting.
Right. Okay, good point. Okay, thank you.
Anything else, counsel, for Aaron? All right,
All right,
thank you, Aaron.
Hopefully on our next meeting, I'll have the following month. So we'll keep a close eye on this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 4, additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda. Suzanne, do we have anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Item 5 is the consent calendar. Council, we have 3 items. I'm going to read them, and if there's anything you'd like to pull off, please let me know. Item A is approval of the October 16th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes. Item B is approval of the Gold Hill Water Tank Construction Contract between the City of Woodland Park and Bonham Construction LLC in the amount of $1,528,257. And we have Kip here. If there's questions on that, we can pull it off. And item C is approval of the 1-year holiday lighting contract between the City of Woodland Park and Timberline Landscaping for $55,541.34. And we have Aaron here. If there, Rob. Rob's here to talk to you.
I'm here
if you need
too.
that. Anything that you'd like to take off individually, council? No?
You're okay?
All right. I would look for a motion to approve the consent calendar as
Then-
presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, Suzanne?
Thank you. Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Bryant.
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith.
Yep.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Item 6 is public comment on items not on the agenda. Suzanne, I know we have some
We
sort.
do, Mayor.
Some signed up.
We
Thank
do.
you.
We have one speaker signed up this evening, and it's Austin Clark.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, if you just give us your name, full name, and your city of residence, please.
It's Austin Clark, Woodland Park.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Austin Clark. I'm here tonight as a resident and representative of Gray Horse Ranch HOA to speak about ongoing traffic safety concerns in our neighborhood, specifically at the intersection of Black Bear and Gray Horse. For the past few years, our community has experienced a sharp increase in traffic, especially along from around large delivery trucks during the evening hours. Many residents have voiced growing concerns about vehicles speeding through this intersection, creating unsafe conditions for drivers, pedestrians, and children playing nearby. Previously, we asked the city to consider installing traffic calming measures such as speed humps, used successfully in other neighborhoods around Meadowwoods, or by converting the intersection into an all-stop to help reduce speeding down our hill. The response we received was that such measures are only installed when data shows they are needed and that a study was not justified because conditions have not changed. With respect, I challenge that conclusion. Conditions have changed. Delivery traffic has increased drastically in recent years, and the neighborhood has had an increase in families with children moving in, currently around 20 under the age of 15. Residents have raised consistent documented safety concerns for more than 2 years to include signed petitions asking for action. To say a study cannot be done because there is no data yet, when the only way to gather that data is through a study, creates a frustrating loop of inaction. It leaves residents feeling that our lived experiences carry less weight than the statistic that has yet to be collected. We are not asking for action based on anecdotes or assumptions. We're asking for a collaboration. If information is needed, then let's gather that data. Let's verify the facts and determine whether the intersection truly warrants further measures. What's being asked are modest, cost-effective improvements that have proven successful elsewhere in our city. What we're asking for is not extraordinary. It's a kind of proactive partnership that prevents incidents and accidents before they happen instead of responding to after the fact. At the end of the day, choosing not to act means accepting an avoidable safety risk for our residents, something none of us want to see. Our community values our relationship with the city, and we believe this relationship is strongest when concerns like these are met with responsiveness and not resistance. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else, Suzanne?
No, ma'am.
Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council of items not on the agenda? All right, thank you. Item 7 is unfinished business, and we have nothing, council. 8 is ordinances on initial posting. We don't have any of those either. Item 9 is public hearings. Item A is approval of ordinance number 1510, Series 2025, an ordinance of the City Council of the City for the City of Woodland Park, Colorado, approving vacating that portion of South Fairview Street right-of-way lying between Chester Avenue and Foster Avenue, east of Block 15 and west of Block 16, Foster's addition to Manitou Park, City of Woodland Park, Teller County, Colorado, as requested by Andre Brewington, the applicant and adjacent property owner. Council, this is quasi judicial, and we have CJ, our senior planner, to present first. And then we'll have Karen Schmink, our planning director, after CJ.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, like the mayor said, Karen and I are going to be kind of tag teaming this presentation. So just bear with us as we both just switch places maybe a few times here. So again, the request is by Andre Brewington to vacate a portion of South Fairview Street. The subject property is located south of Highway 24 at the intersection of Foster's Avenue and Woodland Avenue. The subject right-of-way is located within the Foster's addition to Manitou Park, which was originally surveyed and platted in 1889. As you can see on the slide, the site and surrounding properties were platted in a traditional grid pattern of rectangle-shaped lots that are roughly 7,500 square feet in area. This presentation will primarily focus on Block 16 of the subdivision, which is outlined in yellow, and the portion of South Fairview Street that's in question tonight is outlined in red. Actual development patterns in this area really deviated from the subdivision plat early and can be seen in these aerial photos that are historic. So on the left, you see this photo from 1938, and on the right-hand side of the slide is a photo from 1979. The section of Fairview Street between Chester Avenue and Foster Avenue, identified by the red circle on both the photos here, has never been fully improved. On the left-hand side of the slide is a current aerial photo, including the general location of the property lines that show the current development pattern in the area. The area outlined in red is the section of South Fairview Street that is the subject of this application. The blue triangle between Fairview and Woodland Avenue is the land that is owned by the applicant. On the right-hand side of the slide is the Woodland Park zoning map, and as you can see, rural residential zoning surrounds the subject right-of-way. The minimum lot size within the UR zone district is 7,500 square feet with a maximum density of 2 dwelling units per acre. This subdivision was platted before zoning regulations were adopted in the early 1960s. A total of 104 lots were originally platted in the 23.14 acres that comprised of blocks 13, 14, 15, 16, 25, and 26, which results in a density of 4.49 dwelling units per acre. As currently developed, 60 dwelling units have been constructed, and there are 3 full-size vacant lots available for a total of 63 dwelling units, which result in a density of 4.72 dwelling units an acre. This density calculation includes the land area in the eastern half of Block 25, which is now Cavalier Park.
CJ,
Sure.
is that not 2.72 dwelling units per acre?
Correct.
Okay, you had said 4. I just wanted
Oh,
to. be
sorry.
correct,
Yeah,
Which
I
was
apologize.
correct. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. On the next few slides here, we have some site photos just to get you all familiarized with the site. On the left-hand side of the site of this slide is a photo taken from just south of Chester Avenue at the north end of Woodland Avenue and looking south. And just a quick little note on the left-hand side of the slide, Google Maps has that labeled wrong on where it says Fairview Street. So the dirt driveway on the east side of Woodland Avenue pavement is located within the Fairview Street right-of-way. On the right, on the right-hand side of the slide here, looking north into the undeveloped section of South Fairview Street, and the applicant's property is on the right-hand side of the photo. The wood lath that you guys can see on the right-hand side of the photo with the red dot on the top of the lath identifies the applicant's southwestern property corner. This photo was taken from the intersection of Foster Avenue and Fairview Street, looking north into the subject area. The red dot again in this photo indicates the approximate location of the applicant's current southwest property corner. This photo here is taken from the intersection of Foster Avenue and Woodland Avenue, looking northwest into the applicant's property. The intersection of South Fairview Street and Foster Avenue can also be seen on the left-hand side of the photo. And the last photo we have here was taken from Woodland Avenue and looks directly west across the applicant's property to the neighboring property known as 112 Foster Avenue. The current request you all are hearing tonight is from Mr. Andre Brewington, who submitted an application to vacate a portion of South Fairview Street. On the left-hand side of the slide depicts the location of the subject right-of-way to be vacated, which is outlined in red, and Mr. Brewington's parcel, which is outlined in blue. The figure on the right-hand side of the slide depicts how the property lines change should the vacation be approved, and the land divided as specified in city code and confirmed by the city's legal team. And this was also a topic of conversation during the Planning Commission hearing, and a little bit later on in the presentation, you'll see this topic come up again within the Planning Commission recommendations. And coming up in the presentation, we have some just general history of the area and these parcels, and our planning director, Karen, will take care of that. So.
So good evening. Thank you for indulging us in a tag team presentation this evening. We did quite a bit of historical research around the parcel configuration in this area since we feel that that's very relevant for future use of land in this area should the vacation be approved. As mentioned previously, this area was originally platted in 1889, so it's one of the oldest parts of our city of Woodland Park. And the center part of this slide shows that original plat from 1889. The red area, the area outlined in red is the subject right away to be talked about for vacation. The orange diagonal lines across through the center is the location of Woodland Avenue. So it's interesting to see how that was actually utilized and established, which is very different than what was platted in that area back in the 1800s. And then the block outlined in yellow is that block 16, which is going to be a hot topic here as we go through these next several slides. And that block 16, 15 of those lots was conveyed to one individual back in 1932. And then lot 14, that same individual managed to acquire that in 1942.
Karen,
So
I'm sorry, Karen, can you point to where lot 16 is?
block 16 is outlined in yellow.
Oh, the whole thing.
The
Oh, okay.
whole thing is block 16. And all of that, as of 1942, was owned by one individual.
Oh, I see.
It's this one with the orange dot that it took him a little bit of time. Somebody else held that for quite a while in there. So it was only in 1942 when Mr. Wagner was able to obtain that and then have ownership of that entire block. And so he held that for quite a long time. And in 1958 was the last time when all of these lots was conveyed as, lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, to another individual. So that was 1958 when that happened. And so from 58, things kind of just existed as they were. And it was in 1970 when, at that point, the town of Woodland Park said, hey, we've got this road running through the middle of everything. We probably need to make sure that we clearly have right-of-way dedicated and established as part of Woodland Avenue, since that's the road that everybody's been using at that point for multiple decades. So there is an unnumbered resolution that does go about establishing this as a public right-of-way. And the dedication deeds that were also recorded then in August of 1970 include this more generalized legal description. And there's actually a typo in the legal description, but basically it's that portion of Woodland Avenue as originally plotted lying northwesterly of the northerly right-of-way line of Sheridan Avenue, which is to the south, and then the southerly right-of-way line of Chester Avenue, which is the north of this 2-block area where that diagonal road runs. In the town of Woodland Park, Teller County, Colorado, for the purposes of the establishment of public right-of-way, and this is the typo where it says lots 16 and 25, that should be actually be blocks 16 and 25, as designated on the official map of the town of Woodland Park, and is to be known as Woodland Avenue. So the property owner here for block 16 at that time, Mr. Dust, in 1971, so essentially within a year after the right-of-way for Woodland Avenue was established, had the foresight to let's go get a survey and see exactly what does this land area look like. And so that survey, the land survey, which was recorded, but it's a survey and not a plat, talks about it being a portion of block 16. And that legal description encompasses this green area, the area outlined in green on the right side of Woodland Avenue. So that's the area that's described on that survey, and that is the portion that is talked about. This west area of block 16, which is outlined in blue and highlighted in yellow, is not actually part of that survey. It's not included in the legal description. It's not shown other than what we've pieced together here. It's not identified as anything. So in both of these images here on this page, you can see the area outlined in green is subject to, as the area of the survey. And we imposed that on the right side on the original town plat or the original plat, just so you can see how this lines up. So there's the green area that's part of that survey, the yellow triangle, which is the little part on the west side of Woodland Avenue. The orange diagonal through there again is Woodland Avenue. And then the area outlined in red is the subject portion of Fairview Street that we're talking about possibly vacating tonight. So in 1976 and 77, there were a number of different documents that show up in the clerk and recorder's records, installment contract for a deed, assignment of a deed of trust, and ultimately a quitclaim deed. And the legal description within all of those documents was that area outlined in green. So the little part in yellow was not subject to any of those other documents or conveyances through that time period. And it was then in 1977 when this green area was conveyed. And like I said, the yellow triangle was left behind. So it was only that larger portion of block 16 that got conveyed. This is more just an aside, kind of for reference purposes, that the next time that any reference to that little triangle on the west side of Woodland Avenue shows up in the records is in 1981, and it's for the purposes of establishing an easement for drainage. And so that particular document really does talk about legally describing that little triangle, and it gives you that point down here in the southwest corner of that triangle or the southwest corner of block 16, going over a specific distance to the edge of Woodland Avenue and then diagonally up that red line. So that's the area where they were looking to establish an easement so that drainage infrastructure could be installed. So in 1984 is when our current subdivision regulations were adopted. As CJ mentioned, we actually had subdivision regulations prior to that as early as the 60s, but the regulations we have now and actively utilize when we bring plats to City Council is from these same regulations from 1984. So there were rules in place around dividing property at that point in time. And it was in 1987 when the landowner at that time conveyed just the southern part of this block 16 through two different deeds. So the dark blue area on the right side of Woodland Avenue was conveyed to Timberline Baptist Church via a warranty deed. And that was the part where this property owner had actually gotten that clearly conveyed to them, back in the prior conveyance. And then at the same time, the same day, the property owner conveyed the light blue triangle on the west or left side of Woodland Avenue also to Timberline Baptist Church, and they did that through a quitclaim deed. So the warranty deed has some type of guarantee behind it that I stand behind what I'm conveying to you. The quitclaim deed is more of, hey, whatever rights I may or may not have to this, I'm passing on to you. And it's in that warrant or quitclaim deed where it talks about a portion of lots 9, 10, 11, and 12 of block 16. So it's that little scrap, that little tiny triangle there. The next conveyance to note was in 96 when the church then conveyed the dark blue area on the right side of Woodland Avenue to an individual property owner, the Gatts. But the little piece on the west side of Woodland Avenue was not conveyed at that time. The east side, that dark blue area, was subsequently replatted into 4 lots as Woodland Creek subdivision. Staff speculation is that if that whole southern portion of block 16 had been conveyed all at one time to the Gatts, and as part of doing that subdivision plat, Because I've seen this in other documents here in the city. More than likely, that little triangle on the west side of Woodland Avenue would have been set up as just a tract and dedicated as open space at that point in time. But that was not part of what was conveyed to the GATS, so it was not part of that whole subdivision in 97. So that little triangle kind of fell off the map from when it was originally conveyed to the church in 87. And it does not show up again as any type of conveyance until 2006. And so in the assessor's records, it's through a treasurer's deed in 2006, 2012, and then again in 2023, where that property has changed hands those couple of times. And the description on those treasurer deeds references a portion of lots 9 through 12, block 16, Foster's Addition, lying west of the right-of-way for Woodland Avenue. So it's important to note the job of the county assessor is to make sure all of the land area in that county is accounted for and taxed accordingly. And so that's what they did in 2006 when they identified that this little piece of ground hadn't had taxes paid on it, so it went to the treasurer's sale. And when you look on the county's website, there are a couple of different disclaimers. The one that shows up when you're looking at a particular page for a property, and that says that the brief legal description is not intended for use on legal documents. So it's really just their general descriptor of what that property is. And then when you look at the county mapping in their GIS system, there's also another disclaimer there that says that that GIS information is provided as a public resource for general information purposes only. The representation of locations in this GIS cannot be substituted for actual legal surveys. So those are important things to just be aware of, is when you look at the property and any legal validity behind it. So the last tax sale again was in 2023. And it was in 2024 where that person who acquired this little triangle then conveyed it to the applicant, Mr. Brewington. In that deed, and they used a warranty deed to make that conveyance, they used the assessor's abbreviated legal description as listed above. And then that deed also includes a disclaimer that that little property is being sold as is, where is, with no usage or building capability guarantees. And there's an additional note on the slide where just wanting to reiterate that it's staff's perspective that this is a forgotten scrap of land. It is not a full-size lot. And so it's just part of what the assessor identified as needing to be taxed and collect taxes on. So some additional parameters to take note of with regard to the property is the current geographic area of this triangular parcel is roughly 2,862 square feet. The assessor's website actually shows it or lists it as 0.12 acres, which would actually be 5,200 feet. So this is considerably smaller. And when you compare that 2,800 square feet to the standard lot size of a full-size platted lot in this area, it's actually only 38% of that 7,500 square feet. So it is under 40% of a full-size lot. So it really is just a piece. The required minimum lot size in this UR zone district is 7,500 square feet. And as we mentioned previously, the maximum density under today's standards is 2 dwelling units per acre. So if this right-of-way vacation is approved and you divide the property up per the city regulations, you end up with this light blue trapezoid here on the right that shows that general configuration of what those property lines are. That land area is approximately 7,300 square feet, which falls below that required minimum lot size. And then the other concern is that by establishing another lot, that then further increases the density beyond the current 2.72 dwelling units per acre, which again is higher than what is desired in that zone district by today's standards. And then we look at the practicality of developing this particular property, because on the right-hand side, you've got Woodland Avenue, which we classify as a major collector. So it's a street that gets a fair amount of traffic. And then this road across the bottom, Foster's, is classified as a minor collector. So still reasonable amount of traffic. It's not like these are both local streets. In implying setbacks, it would be 25 feet off of both of those right-of-ways. This rear property line up here on the northern side is 25 feet off of that. And then this west property line, it would be 8 feet setback off of that. So that nets us a building envelope, a triangular shaped building envelope of approximately 1,382 square feet. When you look at a full-size lot, that 50 by 150 feet, 7,500 square feet lot, and you apply setbacks to that, you get a 3,400 square foot building envelope is what's really typical for being able to put houses and properties on, or buildings on. That typical building envelope does shrink when you apply the setbacks to a corner lot, because you've got that 25 feet that gets applied on two of those property lines. So that does get you down much closer to like 2,000 square feet for a buildable area. But it's still a fair size larger than what this triangular shaped building envelope would be. And then the other thing to note, as we saw in the picture prior, and then again here on the upper right-hand part of this slide, is that there is topography associated with this area, that it does have a decent slope headed from north to south. So that's my end of it for history and applying setbacks and such, and then CJ will wrap things up.
Again, thank you, council, for bearing with us here tonight, but so the applications refer to the entities listed here on this slide. On the right-hand side of the slide is an exhibit from Core Electric that they submitted to planning staff, and Core will be requesting easements on all three sides of the property during the plating process if this right-of-way vacation does get approved by City Council tonight. On the left-hand side of the slide is a snapshot of Black Hills Energy's infrastructure. They submitted a comment to the planning department and stated that it appears that they have no gas facilities in the area. The City of Woodland Park Utilities Department also submitted a comment and stated that Utilities does not approve of the right-of-way vacation because there is no physical water available to serve this lot unless the applicant extends the water main. On the right-hand side of the slide is a snapshot of the city's current infrastructure, with the blue line being existing water mains. The Utilities Department has not planned to serve this parcel with water because it is a leftover piece of land split apart by the construction of Woodland Avenue. If the applicant is successful with the right-of-way vacation and would like to construct a single-family dwelling on the property, you all, the Woodland Park City Council, would have to make that decision on whether or not the city would sell the applicant a water tap. This request is subject to Municipal Code, Chapter 12, and many of the provisions listed here on this slide do comply, while some may comply. So the vesting of the title may comply on this slide, and if approved, subject to City Code, the 60-foot right-of-way would be divided down the middle, with the land area then being vested to the applicant's property, as well as 3 other properties that border the right-of-way to the west. Per Chapter 12.08.060, it is staff's recommendation that if the right-of-way vacation is approved, the city will reserve a 10-foot wide general utility easement centered on the right-of-way being vacated. And lastly, on this slide, Section 12.08.070 was stated that may comply in the staff report because the proposed legal description and associated exhibit that would be attached to the required city ordinance did not accurately reflect the full width of the right-of-way being vacated. The applicant and his hired surveyor have since fixed this issue, and the correct legal description and exhibit was attached to the ordinance you all received in your packet. Section 12.08.090, vacation to be accomplished by ordinance. In the staff report, this was may comply as well, just because of the legal description and exhibit I just talked about, but again, that has since been corrected. And the last provision on this slide may comply because these are typical costs that the applicants are subject to and build upon the completion of the hearing process. We have some additional considerations to hit on here. The property owned by the applicant is land that was left over from the 1970 dedication of Woodland Avenue. This is not the only instance where this has happened in the area. Just south of the subject right-of-way is another property in Block 25 that consists of 4 lots bisected by Woodland Avenue, which is outlined in purple on the screen. The use of treasurer's deeds to convey the property in the past does not support the idea that this should be a legal parcel with legal development rights. If the applicant's parcel were to be built on, it would further increase the number of dwelling units per acre beyond what is currently allowed. And lastly, the Woodland Park Utilities Department has not planned for water to be served at this property. The application has met all noticing requirements and staff has received no public comments. On this slide, I just did want to point out, because of the change in the timing of the city council meetings, 2 public notices did go out. The first notice was a 6:30 start time for the city council meeting, but when that got changed, staff again updated the signs that were posted on the property and did another mailing to reflect the 6 o'clock start time. So, as part of the Planning Commission review, the Planning Commission inquired about possibly having the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board take a look at this application. I just want to point out this typically isn't the case in right-of-way vacations because it's not in our municipal code to put this in front of PRAB. But because Planning Commission mentioned that to staff, we did present this to PRAB on October 8th. And the recommendation on the screen was that the proposed right-of-way vacation does not serve any parks-related purpose. So here on this slide was staff's recommendation to Planning Commission. And while there may not be compelling reason related to utilities or access for the city to keep this section of right-of-way, there are several reasons for the city to retain ownership of it. Based on the following points, the city of Woodland Park should retain the ownership of the subject right-of-way. Again, the applicant's parcel is not a legally established lot. The density of dwelling units in this area should not further be increased. The slope topography and application of required setbacks severely restricts the potential for building on this property. Establishing and developing any additional lot at this location will detract from the current open feeling in the neighborhood. And lastly, we've hit on a few times here is the City Utilities Department does not consider this a lot and has not planned to serve any water to this property. With staff's recommendation, the Planning Commission recommended to City Council approval of the request by Andre Brewington following these conditions listed here 1 through 3. Again, the legal description for the exhibit is required. As I talked about, the legal description was fixed and was included within your packet. And a legal staff review made to determine whether the municipal code section 12.08.020. Again, this was the vesting portion of the right-of-way vacation. So if it goes through, how will that land be split up? On the next slide, we kind of hit on number 2 and 3 here. So staff did meet with our legal team. And on the left-hand side of the slide, where it says 12.08.020, number C or letter C, that's how staff originally proposed this to the Planning Commission. After the Planning Commission recommendation, staff did meet with our legal team, and our legal team, and staff came up with the right-hand side of the slide. So that's the exhibit that was included within the ordinance. And lastly, our recommendation is if City Council agrees with Planning Commission, the recommendation is to approve Ordinance 1510, Series 2025. That was a lot of information. I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions, so.
Thank you, CJ
Yeah,
and Karen.
we're here for you.
All
We
right,
also have
council.
the applicant in the audience tonight, and I know he would like to say a few words as well, so.
All right. Would you like to come up and present what you'd like to share with the council, please? If you'd share your name and your city of residence when you come to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andre Brewington. I currently reside in Manitou Springs. I purchased this lot in 2024. I knew it would be a long shot trying to get all this done. And through much diligence and looking into all the regulations and revised statutes of how this would work, this is where I came across that I might be able to build a home for my family. Now, with this, my apologies, it's slight flustering.
It's okay. Take your time.
The staff recommendations, I find a lot of them to be arbitrary in nature because they focus on current situations and circumstances instead of what is to follow. In addition to the presentation that was just presented was not provided to me. I had an older version of it that did not have a lot of those diagrams, nor was I able to prepare for those prior to tonight. So for the recommendations from the planning department, the parcel is not legally established a lot and should not be allowed to increase in size. That's a part of this process. We're trying to get it to the size so that way it will be legal. To say that it can't be done because it's not at the end of the process, whether that's approved or not, should not be a determining factor of whether this should be done, because that's part of the process. The density of dwelling units in this area should not be further increased. If that were practiced at the planning department, there would not have been additional houses built recently, as soon as last year, within the prescribed area referenced by the planning department. Number 3, slope topography of the lot. As you can see from the pictures that it's not a terrible slope, nor can I picture any part of Woodland Park that does not have some sort of natural topography. Number 4, establishing and developing an additional lot at this location would detract from the current open feeling in the neighborhood. If that were a true opinion by the planning department, there would not be a camper that has been on public property there from prior to the planning department or planning commission meeting. It still is there. I drove it by it just recently on my way here. So that's ordinances that should be complied with that are being ignored. And the planning department did photograph it in their documentation. Number 5, the city utilities department does not consider this a lot. Well, that's a part of this process. That's something that would be considered following. It was not considered before, but if this were to go through, then it would be considered. And as said, I would have to come back here and request a TAP. In reference to how the lots would be divided, may I ask you a question, Nina? Believing that is with your reference or recommendation, how the lot should be divided. Oh, if I may ask.
To answer that question for him.
Could you repeat the question
Yeah,
again?
that's
Though? It wasn't quite clear what you're asking.
So for option, for section D of the
Right.
revision or the revised statute of how it would be divided, it would go to nearest proximity. Now, by the surveyed maps, my property would be in nearest proximity and would be larger than what was displayed.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with the planning director put up and advised, always with vacation of right-of-ways, it's split and each side, one goes to one side, one goes to the other. The one to the left, that would make sense that the property would go higher and, see to the right, it splits in half
Mm-hmm.
and it goes to the abutting owner that way and to the abutting owner to the left and to the right. This is how vacations of right-of-ways always work. On the left, that would give too much of the property because that's not even adjacent to the to the property we're talking about, so.
So the top part of the triangle with the green dotted line, green highlighted dotted line would be contiguous to the lot to the left of it.
Right.
And then the small piece at the top to the lot to the left of it, because it is contiguous. And it would be half of that, correct?
And we're looking at the one on the right is the correct one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's only what is abutting.
Right.
You don't get what's abutting and north of that, just does not.
Why does it slope down? Yeah,
Yeah, the slight angle there on the right.
on,
That top
Instead
line.
of the, yeah. instead of
I'm
the
having the
property line
planner.
continuing-
Yeah, I understand the question. I'm having the planner.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that is the top of the triangle piece
Okay.
where the Woodland Avenue.
oh, I see. I see.
is the top of
I
the
see what you're
triangle
saying.
piece
Yeah.
versus the other property in the middle there, the
Okay.
big square.
Yep.
So that's the line that connects those two particular properties.
And
I see.
yeah, I get it, because of how the right of way now is divided up, that has to be that way because it's the top of the point of the original lot.
Correct.
Okay,
Close
thank
enough,
you.
Is it?
yeah.
If I may.
Yeah.
So as it is written in the Colorado Revised Statute, it is for abutting or in closest proximity.
Mhm.
In which, following the diagram on the left, mine would still be in closest proximity. Either or, I digress. I have explained my desire to get this done. I'm trying to build a home for my family. Yes, this is out of the ordinary. It is a peculiar, small parcel of land in which I was trying to get something done, trying to make something of it, and have land be managed instead of squatted by derelict campers. Before I sit down, is there any questions of me from the council?
Council, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, so staff says that the water availability is not there, so you would have to add to the water main. Do you have any idea what that cost is?
I'm familiar
Guessing
that
it's not, I'm guessing it's not insignificant.
it's not insignificant.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the cost and knew that coming into this,
Okay.
that it would be expensive.
All right, that just want to make sure you're aware of it.
Anything else, council, for the applicant?
Can I say
Yes.
something?
Please.
Mike?
In regards to the, trailer that is on that property there, that is, Coach Sampson's property that he now, his daughter owns because he passed away in 2020, from COVID. So the camper that is there is on his property. So I
If-
just want people to know when they're making their choices and such, that the trailer that is there is not a derelict, piece of thing. That it is there legally and it is on, Athena Sampson's property.
If I may,
Just to let everybody know.
my
Thank you,
apologies.
Steve. Go ahead.
That is a different camper. I am familiar with Coach Sampson's property and where his camper lies. The camper I am referencing, if we go to figure 4C on slide 8. My apologies, when I made my references, I had a different slide deck. The camper that is shown there is not on Coach Sampson's property. That is at the end, on the opposite side. That red dot followed by the lath indicates the start of city property to the left.
So it's on the right of way.
Correct.
Okay. And there's a tree in the right of way. There's a lot. Okay.
We do live in a forest.
Yeah. Oh, staying on this picture, what is, I think CJ, you mentioned there's a drive that, is it a driveway to one of the homes and it's encumbering or it's encroached over the right of way?
That's correct. There's no current easements or anything like that in the right of way. This
Okay.
is kind of these, the folks in in the middle parcel here, if I could find a map. That driveway leads
Yeah.
directly right to the middle of this parcel here, which is, there's actually 3 dwelling units on this specific,
Jeez.
it's
Yeah, I used to
it's
live in
actually
one
like,
of those.
it's actually 3 or 4 parcels, but yeah, that driveway comes right off of Woodland Avenue directly to here.
Council, do you have any further questions of the applicant at this time so he could take a seat? Okay, if you'd like to sit down, stick around with, in case council has more questions for you, please.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, council, any questions, further questions of staff before I open the public hearing?
Yes,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Go.
Thank you. With this right of way, is there any maintenance costs or liabilities that the city currently has?
Well, it's an undeveloped right of way. And I don't know, what if any kind of maintenance we as the city do on that. It very well may be nothing, and that, the adjacent property owners may or may not be mowing that. I just really am not 100% sure.
But it is city property, so we are liable for that property.
It's our land.
Yeah.
The right of way is ours.
Is there any compensation for this land if we were to vacate it, or are we getting paid?
The city does not currently have any kind of policy around, receiving financial compensation when right-of-way is vacated. And in looking back at records and past right-of-ways, when vacations have occurred, I've not seen any indication of the city having previously done that. There's certainly the ability, if council would like to look at developing that kind of policy going forward, but you do not have anything in place at this time.
Anything else, council? All right, then,
One thing real quick.
yes, go ahead.
The original, before the right-of-way vacation changed, one of the slides, and I'm just looking at it in my packet, had the building envelope triangle. But that was before the right-of-way assignment to the other lots was changed.
Correct.
How does that triangle change with the change in the vacation of the other lots?
My initial sketching that out
There it
is,
is. Okay. Okay.
it did not.
Okay.
This is, it looks like it might, but it's not by a lot, because it's, that northerly property line there, the diagonal, the dotted diagonal.
Yeah.
You'd be measuring 25 feet off of that.
Okay.
So when you look at just that whole area, off of Woodland Avenue, 25 feet goes pretty far in. So it really didn't seem to impact it
Okay.
much at all. So your building envelope is essentially the same, that triangular shaped, 1,380 square feet.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. That was all I had.
All right, anything else, council? All right, then I'm going to open the public comment portion of the public hearing on this item. Is there anyone online wishing to make comments?
I do have someone in the audience that's
Okay.
signed up, Josh Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, if you'd give us your name, full name and city of residence.
Sorry for laughing, but that's my son's name.
Well, and we know each other.
Yes, we do.
So, yeah. And Coach Sampson, I did not know that he passed away, sad to say. My name is Josh Smith. I live in Frederick. I've owned the subject property at 112 Foster for the last 24 years. When we bought that property, a little bit of history. Thank you, planning department. I never knew the history. We asked for years what the history was on that right of way and could never get told what the history was. So we wanted to buy that lot many, many years ago when we bought the property in 2001. And since then, we've owned it. I've lived in it for a number of years until I got married and moved north. So it has been rented since then. I'm here tonight to talk about, I'm concerned about the safety pieces of it. We have maintained the property. We mow it, as you can see in the picture that we're talking about a derelict RV that does move. Unlike the taco trucks and the Class A motorhome that has a tarp on it down the street. So, we do maintain it. The city has cut down a tree. There was a mountain pine beetle in it a number of years ago. We've cut other trees down on the property to fix the property and remediate that issue. I'm concerned from a safety perspective. I have sat there and watched people slide through that intersection multiple times. To put another driveway in there majorly concerns me. I'm concerned about some of the changes in what the property around it looks like. I wish I knew that it had gotten conveyed by a treasurer's deed. I would have purchased it, sad to say, but we never noticed it.
So yes, this has come up. Actually, I did talk to CJ a number of months ago, before it had gotten to this point, and he graciously called me back and told me kind of what the steps were. Having been in the development world, my dad built 300 homes in Teller County. I am concerned about some of this. You know, what size of property is there? It's very small. It's not a big lot. We're not going to be able to build a large house on it. So yeah, that's pretty much my comments. I'm sorry to hear about Sam. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council in this public hearing? Seeing no one else online? No one's online. Right, then I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this, the public comment portion of this public hearing, and look to the council for further discussion or a motion.
Well, what I wanted to say, CJ already blew it out of the water, so I can't say what I wanted to say because he's our setter.
Okay, it's on the record. All right, council?
So, yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
For staff. Do we have any plans to do anything with this property?
The planning department does not. We acknowledge in the staff report that it's effectively functioned as open space in that area. And while Prab gave you a comment back that they didn't see a parks purpose for it, they did not address open space at all in their feedback to you. So I do offer that. But you know, because it's just this small little piece that I don't think people even recognize it as a distinct parcel.
Anything else? All right, then I'm going to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1510, series 2025 as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion, council? Suzanne, would you call the roll?
Yes. Nakai,
No.
Bryant,
No.
Gear,
No.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
No.
Case.
No.
Thank you. Motion fails 5-1.
Thank you, council. Thank you for the great presentation and for the conversation. Item 9B is approval of ordinance number 1509, series 2025, an ordinance of the city of Woodland Park amending various sections of chapter 10.08 regarding the removal and disposal of nuisance vehicles. And we have Police Chief Chris Deisler.
Hello,
Welcome, sir.
everyone. I feel like I'm in the corner, so don't mind me. I'm used to being in the corner.
You
Am I
can move
kidding?
it up if you want.
No, we're good. I don't want to mess with the cameras. In any event, good evening, everyone. We're here for this item concerning this ordinance and changes that we're requesting. You may recall from last discussion that this ordinance has been in place for some time. I'm sure by now you've seen the staff report that Karen prepared, as well as the packet that you have with the ordinance changes in it. Effectively, the reason why we're here, which is probably going to be the big question, is to simply change some language in an existing ordinance to allow for more effective enforcement if the time ever comes that we have to take those measures. That's it in a very, very small nutshell. I can get a little deeper into it if you like, but I think the changes are fairly self-evident, and I'm just here to help.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Council, do you have questions for the chief?
No questions, just a comment. It is always amazing to me how one little word in an ordinance can change everything. So, for instance, in the proposed revision, the way it was originally written, I fully appreciate how that handicaps you in the enforcement of it. And I'm just like, so I'm making a comment more to the fascination of adding the word any. It changes the entire applicability of that section.
You know, what's always been funny about ordinances is they're more black and white than sometimes statute is, which is very bizarre, but here we are.
No, but no, I love the change.
So I have a couple, since we're gonna tweak it.
Sure.
Remind us, so, and I'm gonna quote you from whenever it was we hired you, where you said, if it's written, you'll enforce it.
Sure.
Okay, so, number 2 under 10.08.040, huh? Yeah. Number 2 says, left unattended for 72 hours or more. That's pretty vague. So that means if I leave my truck in my driveway and go away for 4 days, can you tow it because somebody called and complained?
You want to go to the last part of the discussion we had years ago?
What's that? I don't
No,
remember.
your point is understood, and I know exactly where you're headed with it. But I think what I need to make sure everybody understands is ordinance changes don't remove common sense, fair application of laws and why the spirit of the laws are there. In any good code enforcement practice, you always start at the lowest level of enforcement and you go progressively higher based upon the level of compliance you get from a property owner. So, with respect to the question, there's intents behind everything we do.
Correct.
The intent behind this change is not to tow a homeowner's car because they left it in their house on vacation.
Okay,
The intent for something like this would be if a vehicle is left in a place that perhaps doesn't constitute an immediate safety health violation, which would be another set of circumstances altogether,
together, yep.
then we now have another card to play if we have to take some sort of enforcement action to tow it.
Okay.
Now, before you start towing vehicles, there are things that you should be doing, like due diligence. Like we try to find owners and we give phone calls and we try to ask, why is the car here? What happened? I got a call early this week to a car that was abandoned in front of Aspen Interiors next to the karate studio in Gold Hill. And it looked like somebody had dumped it there running from the cops. But when I got out and looked on the dashboard, there was a note that said it had broken down and the owner was coming back to get it. You factor in all of those things before you take enforcement action. So it's
Okay, just, you know, the
that's
black,
not from the top, but also
the black and white girl in me, so.
you're right. But there's also a fair and equitable application of ordinances too. So it's not intended to cherry pick. It's just intended to give us a little bit more room to be the enforcer when the need arises.
Okay, because I have one more, which is broken window.
Go right ahead. Broken window theory?
Broken window, half of us have broken windows in the winter.
Windshield.
Or
Yeah.
windshield, sorry, windshields. Half of us have broken windshields in the winter. I'm
Yes.
assuming you're gonna apply same thing?
Well, and you have to remember too, we also apply that logic as it relates to traffic codes and traffic
Correct.
statutes too. So while you may be able to establish a cause for a stop of a vehicle for a broken windshield,
Are you gonna tow it?
history has, no, there's no towing of vehicles for broken windshields. But history has also shown us too that over the years, when you do stuff like this, courts have opined and also given some sort of direction that if a cracked windshield doesn't affect the driver's view necessarily, they don't really look at it too hard.
Correct.
Whereas if you have someone that looks like they just drove through a flock of geese and have not changed their windshield yet and they can't see, then we have a problem, right?
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
you could argue that you have a car sitting in somebody's, or in your driveway
Sure.
with a cracked windshield,
Right.
and you have again, a neighbor that's being difficult and they
Well,
want you to tow the car, but if you're doing the
well,
common sense thing, I'm good.
And I'm glad you're there because one of the things that supervising code enforcement in another life has told me is the people you have barbecues with on Saturday will complain on you on Monday. But there is also something that we become laser focused on, and that is we're not going to be used as a third-party conduit to harass another homeowner. That's just not, that's not the business. So I hope that that might give you a little bit of insight into the methodology or the how. This is the what.
All right, I'm
There
good.
we are.
Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else?
Any other questions, Council of the Chief? Thank you, Chief.
You bet.
Don't stick around. We may.
Oh,
need
I am
you again.
sticking around. Trust me, I've learned not to go too far.
Council, any further discussion before I open the public hearing? All right, I'm going to open the public comment portion of this public hearing. Ask if there's anyone online or in the audience. No, ma'am. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this? Seeing no one, I will close the public comment portion of this public hearing and look to council.
Windshield.
For either further discussion or a motion, please.
I'll make a motion for the approval of ordinance number 1509, series 2025, an ordinance of the city of Woodland Park amending various sections of chapter 10.08 regarding the removal and disposal of nuisance vehicles.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? Suzanne?
Bryant,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Item 10 is new business. We have item A, approve resolution number 936, series 2025, a resolution amending the council rules of procedure regarding the start time of regular meetings. Nina, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We were directed to make this change, which is found in your rules of procedure, and to amend the rules of procedure, you do so with resolution. After this is amended, I imagine the city clerk will finalize a new, everything, a clean copy and send it all around. But all that has changed is from 6:30 to 6. Again, the way to change rules of procedure is via resolution, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Council, questions of the attorney? All right. Thank you. Then any discussion, council, or I'd look for a motion on this, please.
Just want to commend Councilmember Nakai for standing on procedure. I do appreciate it. It's an important thing that we should do. And quite honestly, I feel a little embarrassed that we didn't do a better job standing on procedure to begin with. So thank you for that. And that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, since I wasn't here, I will add that, it's my understanding that we just decided to do this. It wasn't staff asking to do this. And from my understanding also, staff is fine with the 6:30 from an operational standpoint, but that's, what I got.
Thank you. Anything else, council? I'll look for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 936, series 2025, a resolution amending the council rules of procedure regarding the start time of regular meetings.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, Suzanne?
Gear,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith,
Yep.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
No,
Bryant.
No.
Thank you. Motion does carry 4-2.
Thank you, council. Sorry, I ate a cookie and I have to talk now. That takes us to item 11, reports, the mayor's report. I have several things this evening. First of all, the 2026 Citizens Academy is gearing up for another exciting civics opportunity for the community. Each year, the city has been able to offer the fun, engaging program for residents at no cost due to the generosity and support of local businesses and organizations. Your help is needed to make 2026 the best Citizens Academy yet. Sponsorship helps provide learning materials and meals for students and staff throughout the 9-week program. Business owners and individuals interested in supporting the 2026 Citizens Academy should reach out to Communications and Marketing Manager Kristen Higginbotham to register to sponsor one or more Academy sessions. All right. Council, Aaron and I met a week or so ago, I think, with a lot of the leaders of governmental organizations, of nonprofits, of the school superintendent, the sheriff's office and deputies, just all the food pantry leadership, etc., in to respond and prepare for a response to the reduction and elimination of the SNAP benefits at the federal level. We have called it the Teller County Cares Food Initiative. We've been meeting daily on a Zoom call in the mornings, and I've been in all of them except today. I have put some flyers and some trifolds in the back for anyone in the audience that would like to look into this more. It has information not only on how to help, but also how to take advantage of the benefits that the county the people of Teller County, I will say, are putting together and are fundraising and really doing a great job of putting together resources for people that are strapped and really suffering from this lapse in help. So I wanted to share that with you all. I wanted to just look to you all to see what kind of contribution that you all would like to make. And I'm not just talking monetary. And just tell you or share a couple of things that are going on in addition to the flyers that I brought in. And if you are a business, if you wouldn't mind taking a flyer or two and put them up in your place of business so your people that are visiting you can see the information there. Just trying to get as much information out in as many ways as possible so that people know how to get help. So Walmart, tomorrow, the county commissions are hosting a food drive at Walmart between 11 and 2 to either bring foods in that you have, shop at Walmart or somewhere else, and make contributions to help bolster the pantries. And they want us to recognize that it needs to be food that is not expired. They cannot use expired foods. They have purchased beef. They're doing quite a few things and having them butchered so that there's also proteins available, all kinds of work being done. So I wanted to share that with you all and invite you to these events. Walmart tomorrow, and then November 10th and 20th. It is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then on November 10th and the 24th at the Little Chapel Food Pantry, which is a drive-through food distribution point, the public will be showing up at 1:30 p.m. and it will go, I believe, until 5 for drive-through pickup. The folks are asking for volunteers because they're expecting somewhere around 600 people. They're asking for volunteers to help both on the November 10th and 24th, beginning at 10:30 to 11 o'clock in the morning to help organize and prepare things to give to the people coming at 1:30. I'm going to be there the 10th, but I'm out of town for the 24th. So I have asked, or am asking if you all could, or one of you or more, attend that one to help that morning to get things ready. Also, Christy Huber here at City Hall has always in the past done a food drive here at City Hall with the employees and people that visit City Hall to gather food products for helping folks for Thanksgiving meals. She's beginning that early now to also assist in gathering resources to help with the absence of SNAP benefits. So you can drop things off at City Hall as well, and we will make sure that that gets to others. There are multiple places in town to access these resources or contribute to these resources. And so I just wanted to get that information out there. And I will bring updates to the staff to share with you as you all might be interested. Okay, there's that. I also have this list, and I think there's some at the back of this. This is the information about the event tomorrow at Walmart and what they're looking for as far as items, okay? So that's available in the back. It's also on the website, https://tellercounty.gov/tellerstrong is the website. You can access the information. Okay. Community events on Monday, November 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. or 1600 to 1900 hours at the UPass Cultural Center. Teller County Veterans Task Force present the Teller County Veteran Appreciation Event. Dinner is provided by Mission Barbecue, and there will be free chair massages, goodie bags, essentials, and community resources on site. On Wednesday, November 19th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the UPass Cultural Center, the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce is pleased to host the upcoming Teller County Assessors Meeting, providing an opportunity for open dialogue and community connection for a variety of issues and featuring updates from both the Assessor's Office and Teller County Realtors. And I will be one of those Teller County Realtors presenting data from the listing services straight off the MLS. And also a friendly reminder, City Hall will be closed on Tuesday, November 11th, which is next Tuesday, like I said, in observation of Veterans Day. That's all I have, Council. Catherine.
So just to clarify, the dinner is on Monday, not Tuesday?
No,
for the
it's
veterans?
Tuesday, the 11th.
Okay, I
Did
thought
I
you said
say?
November 10th, so I just wanted to double check.
Thought it was the 10th.
Is it the
Did I
10th?
say? It says the 10th, but forgive me, it is November 11th on Tuesday.
It's usually on Veterans Day, isn't
It
it?
absolutely is, and that would be Veterans Day. Thank you,
Karen, do
Catherine.
you have something
But
different?
if you,
I
I'm
believe
just
I
verifying.
believe it was the 10th, but I will have to look it up.
There is another event that has been publicized. I'm not sure who is behind it.
The-
It's the Teller County Veterans Task Force appreciation event. The Veterans Dinner
Okay, so
for
that's the di-
Veterans Day, hosted by the American Legion Post,
Okay,
is at the Cultural Center
at,
beginning at 5 p.m.
okay. That's-
on the 11th.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is a separate
It is.
event. Okay,
I've seen a post on Facebook with regards to
Okay.
that one,
all right.
and I'm
Sorry.
not familiar with the group.
That was confusing.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
that.
All right.
All right, your turn.
So I would like to thank the Charter Review Committee for putting forth, in council, I guess, true, for putting forth 3 charter changes which were overwhelmingly approved.
Sure.
I would also like to thank Deb Miller and the Chamber for putting together the Blue Book, which I think helped educate people. So thank them all. I would like to thank them all for their hard work and congratulations. And with that, we will have one more charter review meeting to finalize a couple additional charter changes for the April election.
November,
No, April.
April. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about tonight.
We're meeting November 12th at 11:30 a.m. at Roy's Barbecue. And
And-
that's all I have.
Catherine and Seth, thank you guys for the great work
Oh, thank you.
pulling that. Yeah, that was really good.
And that's all I have. Yes.
First, I'd like to echo Catherine's sentiment and thank the Charter Review Committee. Had the privilege of being part of so many thoughtful recommendations. And the fact that the voters overwhelmingly passed these measures, I think really speaks to how in touch they were with what our community wants. So thank them. I'd like to thank them again. I'd also like to congratulate the Woodland Park High School cross-country team. They did an amazing job and placed high at state. That's obviously takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to do. So I just want to recognize our students. I also want to express just the pride I feel in the overwhelming support that I've seen come from our community. Leaders like the mayor, the commissioners, local businesses, nonprofits, really coming together, having a plan to support some of our neediest community members in this funding gap. I'm really proud to be part of this community that reacts that way.
Thank you. I'll share that.
Thank you. And I wanted to remind the community that a few of our local schools are holding Veterans Day ceremonies. So if you are a veteran or want to support them, I'd encourage you to look at that, attend one of those if possible. This community has so many veterans between Teller and El Paso County. We've got thousands upon thousands of veterans, and their sacrifice definitely deserves recognition. In addition to that, the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee is proud to announce the opening of the 2025 Beautification Award. The annual Beautification Award celebrates individuals, businesses, and organizations who contribute to making Woodland Park, Colorado a beautiful place to live. The committee has nominated 4 area businesses, organizations, or individuals for this year's award, and we will also accept your independent nominations. Voting is open through 5 p.m. on Friday, December 5th. This year's committee selected nominations include Community Partnership Family Resource Center for the community garden at City Hall, Solid Grounds Coffee Roasters for the new outdoor patio space, Sophia's Antijios for revamping the former Italian restaurant into a new Mexican restaurant, and John Gamelke, owner of Java House and Miss Press, his building for the seasonal flower baskets along Highway 24. They really were spectacular. For more information, including reviewing the award criteria and making your selection, please visit the latest news section of the city's homepage. And that is all I
You
have.
can vote there on the city's homepage, okay,
Yes.
or off the latest improvement, okay. Great.
Thank you, Seth. Jeff?
So Tuesday, the HPC met. Unfortunately, my day job got in the way, so I was unable to attend. So I do not have any updates from that meeting. Otherwise, I just want to echo the already provided sentiments, thanking the Charter Review Committee for their efforts, and also thanking the voters for approving them. Quite frankly, they weren't just approved. They were approved by a substantial margin, which I think, and from my perspective, shows a great amount of trust from the community in the options that were put forward. So thank you so much to the voters for allowing that. One of the amendments specifically, if it was not passed, the term limits just determined by the bylaws of the committees would have been severely impactful to a couple of our committees. So thank you again to the voters for doing that, and thank you to the Charter Review Committee for putting forth 3 very well thought out and important amendments to our charter. Otherwise, that is all I have.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Yes, George.
I was waiting for the introduction.
Acknowledgement?
So 3 things. Main Street, we met Monday and conducted a strategic planning session. It was facilitated by a third party, which was an excellent session. I'm really looking forward to, and I'm hoping that Anita or Kimberly will actually present the results of that session over time. And it was great stuff. DDA, we approved 5 new grants on Tuesday morning. And we also I know I've had some questions about the Tava TIF. We did approve a motion to go into negotiations with Tava. So we're having legal review our options there. And then the last thing, who mentioned, I think it was you, mentioned cross country?
Yeah.
Jordan. So Coach Jordan Hicks, I think it is, he is conducting a turkey trot up here. And it's an excellent program. I think there's only I think they moved it up to 100 participants. There's only 10 slots left. So if anybody's thinking about that, that will happen the morning of Thanksgiving. And that's
Fun.
all I got.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. Steve,
Yes.
welcome.
Thanks. Well, just to start off with, I would like to report what an awesome community that we have and that we live in.
Yes.
By far, it's outstands everybody else, in my opinion. So with that, at the UPass Cultural Center, there's going to be a community concert Wednesday, November 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. Performance by Pippa Sling. Wow. And then New Year's Eve is an 80s theme party with live music provided by Randy Stevens and the Groove Makers. Tickets on sale, early bird pricing through November 3rd. It doesn't say how to buy tickets, so or else I would have said that. At the Aquatic Center, Aqua Zumba Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:30. Mystic Fin Academy, Monday, November 24th from 1 to 3. Pre-registration is required. And then Babysitter Boot Camp, Tuesday, November 25th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then for the Park and Rec, youth basketball registration, 1st and 2nd grade co-ed, and 5th through 8th grade boys registered by December 8th. Winter Day in the Park and the city tree lighting, Friday, December 5th, 3:30 to 6 p.m. If you have any questions, call Cindy at Park and Rec.
Thank you, Steve. Anything else? That's it. All right, City Attorney.
Nothing tonight. It was great seeing everyone. I'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Nina. City Manager.
Thank you. All right, we have a few tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start with Suzanne.
Okay, I'm gonna start with a little fun. Even we are a great community, Councilmember Smith, and just to let you know, we are tied at the end of the half. Broncos Raiders. It is 7-7, buddy. So it's actually the 2-minute warning.
Okay.
Okay, but as council knows and the public knows, I've announced my retirement. It is with great pleasure for me to introduce our incoming city clerk, which is Monica Mendoza. She's here on board with us. She started last week. We are in the middle of intense and happy with her. So,
Suzanne's boot camp.
yeah, my boot camp.
Have you started writing down everything you know to give her plenty of time to ingest all of that information?
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's got it. Regarding, thank you, council, for bringing up the 3 charter amendments. And as part of my report for the record, I would just like to announce what those amendments were that passed. The first amendment was the amendment to the charter, which will allow the city clerk, in the event of a recall, instead of 5 days to verify signatures, it will allow the city clerk 30 days. So I can say I really appreciate that, but I know Monica in my absence will really, really appreciate that should that event arise again. Also, as Councilmember Gear mentioned, the term limits that will be set by bylaws for the different committees and boards, and then the residency requirement. We are going for, from running for mayor and council, we are going from a 1-year residency to a 2-year residency requirement, and that will be effective for this April's election. So that's very important for the public to know that that's changed, and we will continue to advertise that to everybody that's interested in running. Speaking of the April election, we will be hosting a candidate open house that we've done many times in the past, a prospective candidate open house. So for any of you on the dais that's interested in running, or any of the public or anyone listening on Zoom that's interested in running, we will start advertising that, and that will be on December 3rd, which is a Wednesday, here in the council chambers at 5:30 p.m. We would encourage anyone interested in attending. Third, I need to talk to you a little bit about the CML Policy Committee. When Councilmember Harvey resigned, it left an opening on that committee. Mayor Case has expressed an interest in being our CML policy person, and I would just need a consensus from council to allow her to do so, and then I could notify CML.
Sure. Yeah.
Second the motion.
Thanks for the endorsement, Jeff. I love it.
So I have a
You're so
council,
kind.
I'm hearing a consensus to allow Mayor Case to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
And then the final thing I have is it's that time of year where we are going to start advertising for boards and committees. We have a lot of boards and committees. The terms expire on January 1. So Monica and I are in the process of putting out the public notices, inviting people to apply for these positions. The boards that are going to be up for renewal, which we will bring to you at the December 1st, the first council meeting in December, are going to be the BOA, the BOR, the HPC, and the PC Planning Commission. So they all have people's terms expiring and vacancies. So we will be hitting that hard advertising. And if you know anyone that might be a good fit for any of those committees, encourage them to apply. Thank you,
Can I ask
council.
you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
So who's up on the BOA? Do you know?
We have it in our notes. I don't have it in here, but we have it in our notes.
I believe it's Lou Ramon and Nick
And Nick
Abercrombie.
Abercrombie, that's what I thought, okay.
And I
then
think
the-
we still have an alternate vacancy
You
also.
do.
Okay.
You did.
It's a good question. What about planning? Who's up there?
It's okay.
Larry Larson,
Okay.
and I forget.
There's 2 though,
And then there's also, 2, at least one, if not 2 vacancies.
vacancies, yep.
Monica has it, actually.
Yeah. Of course, this doesn't reach that far.
Larson, Hoeing, and a vacant position.
Don Hoyne was the other one that she said.
Any others? Because Monica has it right in front of her.
BOR?
BOR is McVicker, Cahill, Carpenter, Smith, and a vacant alternate.
So it's the entire BOR.
Just about, for some reason, those are not set up on a rotation.
Well, we should probably fix that in the term when we adjust the term.
It would be nice if we
Yeah,
could,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
What about HPC?
That would be, David Langley, Laurie Goloth, and Eric Simonson. Thank
Oh,
you.
Ooh,
That's a lot of positions.
it is.
So encourage folks to apply.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
Sir.
Yeah, that's fine. Regarding
Used to
the,
say Yes, ma'am, to the mayor.
regarding the, let's see, the term limit, amendment that we passed, that the city passed. So how do we implement that now?
So it's the individual boards and committees can make the changes to their bylaws if they
Yeah,
if they
so
desire.
there are gonna be some like BOA that really need to,
BOR.
or NBOR.
BOA, yeah.
So they
Yeah.
would make the changes as a body and then they would bring them to you for approval.
That's what I was wondering. So yeah, they're gonna come here. So
Correct.
they've got to start now quickly because then they're gonna hit the January 1st thing and some of these guys are termed out. So, yeah, okay.
So no one's actually termed out.
Oh, I
because
thought there was.
The
I'm-
term started, the charter amendment
Yeah.
applying term started in 2020. So
Okay.
it would be 8 years
Okay,
till
okay.
anyone was termed out.
Okay,
So
good.
we actually have no one termed out just yet, so they have a little
Oh,
bit
they,
of time.
okay, never mind. then.
Yeah.
Good. That's
And
great.
then just so council knows is we don't usually do a mid-year codification, but we are doing, because of these charter amendments, we are
Yeah.
doing a mid-year codification so they can get put into Municode. They won't be in the books, they'll be in Municode online.
Right,
So you'll see those coming forth.
okay. And they're not effective until they're codified?
No, they're affected now.
They are,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
good.
So speaking of Muni codes, are we any closer to getting the code update, Karen?
I just asked that
Or
question
did you?
the other day. Yesterday.
We are, we're real close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would be great to get that done before this council's.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Gone.
no, trust
least
me,
at-
that's
At
definitely
least
on.
Ellie and I would like to.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
very-
term limited in it,
Yeah,
so I'd love
I-
to be a
I
part of
have
it.
that very much in my mind.
Thank you.
I do, yeah, no, we're real close to doing at least a 30-day public review period. Cause that is absolutely an essential step since, people need that opportunity to look at this before we even got to public hearings. So no, we recognize we're coming down to the wire and need to keep it moving.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you for checking.
So I'd just like to make a comment before we adjourn with regards to the planning commission and those vacancies or those positions that are available. You know, over the years, I've been here, I've worked in this organization in one capacity or another for 28 years. When I first started working here in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was just a normal path for persons that were interested in serving on council at some point, that they went through the process of serving on planning commission for a period of 4 years or so, or whatever term they felt was appropriate, because 90% of what we do here is related to land use and planning. And so it's a really good opportunity to get into the weeds and really learn about all of that, and then bring that forward to the policymaking committee on city council. So if there's people that have thought about it, maybe take a step and start with planning commission and see how that works for you. And I just thought I would share that, because that used to be how it worked in the old days. Yeah. Thank you for indulging me on that.
And
Anything
Mayor?
else? Aaron, you
We have a
have,
few more, yes. So I'd like to invite the chief up. He has a couple of updates.
come on up, chief.
Hello again.
Hello.
I'll try to keep this brief, but you know me anyway. A few things. Number one, I would like to say a few words of recognition to our local Tractor Supply store. The manager, Bobby, had nominated the police department as the hometown heroes, and we were awarded a check for $250. You may have seen it on our Facebook page. So that was a pretty generous donation from them, and we're pretty happy to have that partnership as always. Councilmember Smith, you said this is a great place to be. Yeah, it is. And you only come to appreciate it more when you're only here a few years, because people who live in communities a long time tend to take it for granted. Having been somewhere a long time before I came here, yeah, it's a pretty good place. Pretty proud of that. Second, you may have seen the press release concerning the copper thefts that we had out of Core Electric's yard. Interesting piece of information there that I did not share earlier, and I'll keep it brief for anonymity's sake, at least for now. But we oftentimes give our fellow public servants in the fire service a lot of ribbing for how clean their trucks are and how shiny their furniture is, and they'll give us garbage about, things like donuts and all the old tired jokes that we've heard. Anyway, I say that to say this. We have a great deal of respect for one another's disciplines, but the catalyst behind that phone call the other night was an echo and play, 2:45 in the morning. Saw somebody in that compound and called. That's the difference. You see something's not right, let us know. So that was pretty cool. Third thing is more of a personal note for me. And I just happened to text with him earlier today, but a personal friend of mine, a longtime mentor and former chief from back in my days in Winter Springs, Florida, had finally found out today has officially retired for good after 54 years in law enforcement. So Chief Daniel J. Kerr, my hat's off to you. Amazing. Yeah, I texted with him this morning and asked him if he was still plugging along, and he said, I finally pulled the pin and I'm enjoying life. So good on you, boss. So I'll tie that into the last thing as we talk about longevity and law enforcement and some of the things that we oftentimes take for granted in this career as it goes by fast. A special note of thanks to Suzanne, city staff, anybody who is involved in any capacity with Chief Larson's memorial. Not having known Chief Larson, Suzanne and I were pretty laser focused on making sure we got that right. I hope we did. So to that note,
exceptional.
good. To that note, I thank you all for your time as always. I'll try not to be long-winded in the reason why we stay after school. But thank you all very much. And as always, we're here to serve you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. Anything else from anybody?
I did just want to say thank you for approving the Christmas lights contract. We will be starting to put those up next week. It's going to be a couple of weeks in the process, but I think you're all going to be very pleased with how the city looks. It's going to be very exciting. Also, budget ordinances are going to come at our next meeting. So if you have any last minute questions before we draft those ordinances up, please let me know. Otherwise, you'll be seeing those on initial posting at the next meeting. Yes.
I do have a question for Aaron, Madam
Please.
Mayor. Are we gonna do a planning and council workshop?
We are. So Suzanne is going to
Work
set out
session.
a doodle poll for the planning work session. And then we've also been asked by several council members for a planning session on sunsetting the DDA and what that process looks like. So I think we're going to be looking at November 20th for that. And we're not sure about the planning session, either the 13th or the 20th. We're going to be sending out a doodle poll so we get that scheduled. But yes, a lot of fun we're going to be having in the next couple of weeks. And then I did want Kip to come up real quick and just do a 67 update because they have been working pretty hard all of a sudden. And so
Perfect.
Yes, that is very obvious right now. Stone Ridge is back open, thankfully. That's been shut down all summer. So that's back open. They've started paving the westbound or the west side of Highway 67 or the southbound lanes. So we're very hopeful that'll get done in the next, I'll say maybe 4 days. We've had pretty nice weather, so they've been very fortunate. I don't have any updates for you because they don't give us them anymore. And they just, it's kind of
why.
at the whim of the weather. So that's kind of where we're at with 67. Obviously, the portion from Evergreen Heights to the south to Highway 24 is done. That was quite chaotic for a couple days trying to get that done, and they were very creative in trying to get that done. But very glad that's done as well, and hopefully we can move forward and get this project wrapped up without too many more challenges. So
67 from Evergreen Heights to 24 is just so nice. It is so nice.
So our street sweeper was actually out there today. Our construction inspector was kind of picking up the debris that was left behind just to make it look even nicer. So spend a little bit of money on the state road, but that's okay.
Thank you,
So,
Kay.
and
All
that's
right.
all I have.
That's all we have. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.